Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
I'm Jack Berry, and I'm with Meg Mallon, who is a Michigander from a few years back, and who I've kind of been following since she went to high school with my daughters at Farmington Hills Our Lady of Mercy. And you started the golf team there.
Well, I give the credit to my mother and Mrs. Belletti, who got together and went to the school and said, can we have a golf team? And they said, no, but you can have a golf club. And the only difference was we just paid $30 to the state of Michigan, and we can get in any event we wanted to. So we collected a ragtag group of girls, and the 5 of us drove around in our beaten-up cars and played all over the state of Michigan. It was a blast.
When you were inducted to the World Golf Hall of Fame last September in a terrific acceptance, it was not a speech, it was really a wonderful reminiscence. And you talked about hitting your golf ball against the white bricks.
Yeah.
What was that one?
Well, you know, there were some days at my club that I couldn't practice, and sometimes it would only be one day a week because there'd be, you know, golf events there and men's days, and, you know, and so for young girls there weren't many times I could practice. So, you know, I'd just take a club and a golf ball, and we had that white brick, you know, where one would stick in and one would stick out, and I'd sit there and focus on the one sticking out because that would be the ball that come back to me. Otherwise I'd be chasing it everywhere. So, you know, that's just how you adapt as a kid and you know, feel the club in your hands and create games for yourself.
Now, is that the reason why you, among all the players that you were inducted with, Davis Love, Lorena Ochoa, you had had 15 holes in one, and you whipped that group. Now, is that because you hit that white brick?
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. Maybe they spun the ball too much. It was a little easier for me. I didn't have that much spin, so it was rolling in the hole instead of bouncing away from it. I don't know. But I've been fortunate to have 15 hole-in-ones, but it's been a long time, Jack. I'm due for another one.
Well, you were a regular, weren't you? Like two tournaments in a row, something like that?
I think you're right. Yeah, I had one in Toledo for the Jamie Farr Classic in front of my family, so that was. It's fun when you have witnesses.
Now, you're not playing on the tour. How much fun are you getting out of golf now?
You know, I am still very involved in the game. I don't play much golf anymore, but still am very involved with the young players. There's a mentoring program in the LPGA that I'm involved with, and I hear from the players a lot. I do a fundraiser down in Florida where we bring a lot of the players in. So I'm very much in touch with the tour. I go to probably 3 or 4 events a year. So that part I really enjoy. I love trying to help these young players kind of navigate their way through the tour.
Well, it's terrific to have you come out and do that. There was a nice story, I think, in Golf World or Golf Digest last summer on Mickey Wright, and she's been, you know, one of the greatest of all time. Which she won about 80 tournaments.
88.
And it was like, where was she? She wasn't. You didn't see that.
No, she's very reclusive, and she's kind of like Ben Hogan. She loved to play, but didn't love everything else that went with the game.
But it's a shame that like you're getting out, and to get her out in the men's tour, you get Jack Nicklaus all the time, Lee Trevino,
yes, yeah.
and those people, and need to have you out more.
Well, it's neat. This new Mike Wan, our commissioner, has really done a good job of doing that, bringing the past players in the fold. The LPGA Championship, which is now KPMG PGA Championship, has started a past champions dinner, which we had never had before, and it was really neat last year to have, you know, players that won in the 50s and 60s coming back to the events, and it's important for the young players to meet these players and see what they went through, for them to be able where they're today in the game and on the LPGA.
Well, when they started back in the day, they drove in caravans, right?
They did. Their stories are great too. You know,
right?
They did. Their stories are great too. You know, you hear some of the players where they got so mad at their putter they'd tie it to the bumper and drag it from Tucson to Phoenix, and you know, stories like that are just hilarious. That, you know, and they wanted to beat each other more than anything, but they were also had the common goal of carrying on the game of women's golf, and they got along enough to make it run week in and week out.
Now, how has it changed over the years now with more Title IX, which helped getting the girls into golf, and we were talking before about the Asian invasion and their contribution, and I was watching the Olympics last night, and Sayri Pak was mentioned, and B. Park walks out with one of the torches.
No, I know. It was terrific to see that last night. MB Park's one of my favorite people that has ever played on tour. She's so gracious and lovely, and one of the greatest players that's come out of Korea. Sayri Pak obviously is a reason for the Korean invasion and started the whole tide of Korean players coming over here, and they're great players, great people, appreciate the game, appreciate being able to play on the LPGA Tour, and they've made everybody else's game rise up.
Now, how about what has Title IX done for?
Well, I know for me personally, Title IX came along when I was 9, 10 years old, so right away I played Little League baseball. I was drafted second by the Indians in the Franklin Little League, only because the coach's son was drafted first. So, for young girls and little girls at that key age where either they leave sports, now they can stay in it because they look to a future. They have a future. They can get college scholarships. They can play professional sports. There's more professional sports for women. So that's been a huge event for women for Title IX to give them opportunities to be able to play more sports.
How about colleges? And you went to Ohio State. I understand.
I did. We say that quietly here in the state of Michigan, don't we? But I do say Michigan didn't want me, so we got to lay that down first. I was not recruited by Michigan, although Michigan State did, and I appreciated that very much. But Ohio State was the right fit for me, and the program was fantastic. Best facility in the country. Alistair McKenzie Golf Course. The weather was a little better.
Jack Nicklaus down there.
Then you're looking at Jack Nicklaus, Tom Weiskopf, Ed Snead, Joey Sindelar, John Cook. It's a great tradition down there for sure.
Well, Michigan State has improved their facility, and
they have a terrific women's golf coach too. Stacy's fantastic.
Now, what about all of the colleges? There's so many more college teams, and watching the NCAA championship, the golf world is televised, and that's been sensational.
I went to the championships in Chicago last year. The worst weather I've ever seen in a golf tournament, and these players, from Northwestern and Ohio State, and they're playing in short sleeve shirts, and they were successful. They played great. So the northern schools can have success in these events, and it's because of these indoor facilities. Michigan State built a great one. Ohio State built a great one. So it's attracting more players, even from around the world, to come play at these universities.
Now, what about they have the senior tour on the men's side? What about on the women's side?
So we have a Legends Tour that started up, I'm going to say, probably about 15 years ago now. Jane Blaylock started it not long after she retired and felt, there was women that wanted to play after the LPGA. And they have about 8 to 10 events, anywhere from Pro-Am events to 3-day competitive events. I think the thing that's going to help kind of push forward the women's 50 and over tour would be the Women's Senior Open is going to happen this year for the first time. So the USGA has finally put that on their schedule. They're playing the Chicago Golf Club in July. And so it's going to be televised. It's a solid purse, and I think that might help catapult the Legends Tour a little bit.
Well, you won two U.S. Opens, 2 other majors, and the one that you won at Cologne, you were talking a little bit before about Annika Sorenstam and how you would like to beat her.
You were playing as well as Annika. You were playing with the best.
But she played the men's tournament at Colonial.
She did.
You won the Women's Open at Colonial, right?
Yeah. I'm on that wall, which I'm really thrilled about, and that's such a terrific golf course with a great history with Ben Hogan, being there. And actually, Ben Hogan was there when I won the U.S. Open, so that was a special time.
Wow. So did you have chat with him at all?
Well, he's not a talkative man, but I did get a chance to shake his hand and meet him, and it was a thrill.
We got it. You got to have direction.
Now, you played at Edgewood Country Club, I think, as a young girl.
Right.
What about other courses around Michigan that...
Well, when we first came to Michigan, I was 11 months old. My parents joined Lakelands, actually, out in Brighton. And when I was 7, that's where I got my first lessons.
Hills, up and down.
Yeah,
Lakeless.
yep. Whenever lugging my bag around. So those are great early memories. And then we joined Edgewood Country Club, and I got to start working with Paul Van Loozen there. And Paul and I had a great relationship. He was terrific with me, and then he said, "I've taken you as far as I can take you." And so then I went on to work with Elmer Priestcorn, the great pro out of Pine Lake,
right.
out of Pine Lake. And so it's the progression in my game is really because of these great teachers that helped me along the way here in Michigan.
Well, you have another Hall of Famer at Edgewood, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Bob Seger.
Oh, I didn't know he's
a member at
one of my all-time favorite. Is he really? How about that? I got to go over there and stalk him. I'm a big fan of Bob Seger's. I saw him 7 times as a kid. Oh, it's the best.
That's like,
Kid.
okay.
Oh, it's the best.
That's like one of my daughters seeing Bruce. I think she's seen him about 20
I've seen
something
him 4 times. Yeah. Pretty similar. Yeah, similar artists for sure.
What about some of the courses out state that you've played?
I was saying the other day, I said, when you're on tour and you're playing all over the world, you're at one golf course for the whole week, and then there's all these famous golf courses all around you that you don't get a chance to play. And that was kind of my goal in retirement, is to go back and see and play those golf courses. That I want to go play the courses in Ireland, go back and play some of the courses in Scotland that I love, like Turnberry and the Old Course, and play some of the others that I didn't get a chance to, and go down to the Sand Belt in Australia and play those great golf courses.
Well,
It'd be fun. I got to get my body in shape though to travel that much and play. But that's the kind of stuff I'm looking forward to.